You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
Now, a word about our sponsor, the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute. The JHU-ISI is home to world-class interdisciplinary experts dedicated to developing technologies to protect the world's vast online systems and infrastructure, and working closely with U.S. government research agencies and industry partners. The Institute offers dual degree and joint programs in computer science and health informatics, and has been designated as a center of academic excellence in cyber research. Learn more at isi.jhu.edu. Europol dismantles the Manson cybercrime market. Operation Destabilise stops two major Russian-speaking money laundering networks. New details emerge on China's attacks on U.S. telecoms. Black Lotus Labs uncovers a covert campaign by the Russian-based threat actor Secret Blizzard. Cisco issues patches for a high-impact bootloader vulnerability. Trend Micro researchers uncovered Earth Minotaur targeting Tibetan and Uyghur communities. Payroll Pirates target HR payroll systems to redirect employee funds. Pegasus spyware may be more prevalent than previously believed. Our guest today is Jon France, CISO at ISC2, with insights from the ISC2 2024 Workforce Study, and how businesses can lose customers one tip at a time. It's Thursday, December 5th, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us. It is great to have you with us. Europol announced the dismantling of the Manson Market cybercrime marketplace and a network of phishing websites. The investigation, first launched in 2022, revealed Manson Market facilitated the sale of stolen personal and financial data, including bank account information sorted by region and balance. Scammers also operated fake online shops to steal payment details for resale on the marketplace. Authorities seized over 50 servers and 200 terabytes of evidence, with arrests made in Germany and Austria. Visitors to Manson Market's site are now greeted with a notice stating law enforcement possesses all user information. This takedown follows recent operations against Crime Network, a major German-speaking illegal marketplace, and Matrix, an encrypted messaging service used by criminals. Europol monitored Matrix for 3 months before shutting it down, demonstrating continued efforts to disrupt cybercrime infrastructure across Europe. The UK's National Crime Agency, the NCA, has dismantled two major Russian-speaking money laundering networks, SMART and TGR, in Operation Destabilise. These networks laundered millions for cybercriminals, including the Ryuk ransomware group, and helped Russian elites bypass sanctions. They operated in 30 countries, collecting cash in one location and transferring equivalent amounts, often as cryptocurrency, elsewhere. The NCA made 84 arrests and seized £20 million in cash and crypto. Key figures include SMART leader Ekaterina Zanova and TGR boss George Rossi, both sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury. The operation delivered a blow to the network's operations, severely impacting their finances. NCA Director Rob Jones emphasized the UK is no haven for money laundering, disrupting these schemes at every level. In an update, Deputy National Security Advisor Ann Neuberger said the Chinese hacking campaign that compromised at least 8 U.S. telecom firms and affected dozens of countries, Salt Typhoon, targeted senior U.S. government officials, political figures, and private individuals, enabling Beijing to access phone calls and text messages. Though no classified information was compromised, ongoing risks remain as affected companies work to fully expel the hackers. The breach, believed to have started 1 or 2 years ago, appears regionally focused and impacts a low couple dozen countries. The FBI and CISA have issued guidance urging telecom firms to enhance encryption, centralize systems, and monitor networks to mitigate risks. China denied the allegations, accusing the U.S. of cyber attacks. The White House emphasized that improved cybersecurity standards, similar to those implemented after the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, are critical to preventing future intrusions. The FBI, CISA, and allied agencies are urging the use of end-to-end encryption following revelations that China's Salt Typhoon Group exploited these backdoors in public telephone networks. CISA's Jeff Green emphasized the need for encrypted communications to secure networks long-term. Senators Ron Wyden and Eric Schmidt highlighted vulnerabilities in unencrypted DoD communications, advocating for Matrix, a decentralized E-to-EE platform used by NATO allies and the U.S. Navy. Matrix offers enhanced security and digital sovereignty over centralized systems like Microsoft Teams. Obviously, this is a different Matrix than the one we previously mentioned that was being used by German cybercriminals. Black Lotus Labs uncovered a covert campaign by the Russian-based threat actor Secret Blizzard, also known as Turla, targeting Pakistani actor Storm 0156 over 2 years. Secret Blizzard infiltrated 33 command and control servers operated by Storm 0156, known for espionage under the Side Copy and Transparent Tribe clusters. Secret Blizzard gained access in December of 2022, embedding their malware, 2- and Statusi, into Afghan government networks by mid-2023. By April of 2023, they infiltrated Pakistani operators' workstations, acquiring data on Storm 0156's tools, credentials, and exfiltrated intelligence. Expanding operations in 2024, they appropriated and repurposed Storm 0156's malware, including Crimson Rat, previously used against Indian government and military targets. This allowed Secret Blizzard to exfiltrate additional data from prior operations, showcasing their expertise in hijacking adversarial infrastructure. Lumen Technologies credited Microsoft Threat Intelligence Team for their collaboration in addressing this threat. Cisco has issued patches for a high-impact vulnerability in its NXOS software bootloader that could allow attackers to bypass image signature verification and load unverified software. Exploitation requires physical access or administrative privileges, but no authentication. Over 100 device models are affected, with no workarounds available. Cisco has released patches and plans to address all devices by month's end, except for discontinued switches. No active exploitation of this vulnerability has been reported, but users are urged to update promptly. Trend Micro researchers uncovered Earth Minotaur, a group using the updated Moonshine exploit kit to target vulnerabilities in Android instant messaging apps, primarily impacting Tibetan and Uyghur communities. Moonshine, now with over 55 servers, exploits Chromium-based browser flaws and delivers the Dark Nimbus backdoor to both Android and Windows devices. Dark Nimbus targets apps like WeChat, posing a cross-platform threat. Researchers emphasize the importance of regular software updates to mitigate these attacks and protect against Moonshine's evolving capabilities. The threat analysis team at Silent Push have uncovered an extensive phishing campaign by a group they call the Payroll Pirates, targeting HR payroll systems to redirect employee funds. Using domains spoofing major organizations like Workday, Kaiser Permanente, and New York Life, attackers lure victims to fake HR pages through malicious search ads. Once inside employee portals, scammers use stolen credentials to alter banking details for fund redirection. The group utilizes website builders like Mobberize and popular registrars, creating hundreds of domains linked to dedicated IP ranges. Silent Push identified evolving tactics, including phishing campaigns targeting unemployment portals and credit unions. An investigation by iVerify revealed significant insights into mobile threats, highlighting the hidden prevalence of spyware like Pegasus. Through scans of 2,500 user devices, the investigation uncovered 7 Pegasus infections, showing compromises spanning years and affecting devices running multiple iOS versions. This challenged the perception that spyware primarily targets only high-profile individuals, like journalists or government officials. Pegasus, developed by NSO Group, uses sophisticated methods like zero-click attacks and exploits operating system vulnerabilities to achieve full device control. The investigation's results, 2.5 infections per 1,000 scans, suggest that spyware is more common than previously thought. The research emphasizes the need for broader, scalable detection to uncover threats often hidden from traditional security measures. By examining a larger sample, the findings offer a clearer example of the scope of mobile device compromise in an evolving threat landscape. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Jon France, CISO at ISC2. He shares insights from the ISC2 2024 workforce study and how businesses can lose customers one tip at a time. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, KnowBe4. It's all connected, and we're not talking conspiracy theories. When it comes to InfoSec tools, effective integrations can make or break your security stack. The same should be true for security awareness training. KnowBe4, provider of the world's largest library of security awareness training, provides a way to integrate your existing security stack tools to help you strengthen your organization's security culture. KnowBe4's Security Coach uses standard APIs to quickly and easily integrate with your existing security products from vendors like Microsoft, CrowdStrike, and Cisco, 35 vendor integrations and counting. Security Coach analyzes your security stack alerts to identify events related to any risky security behavior from your users. Use this information to set up real-time coaching campaigns targeting risky users based on those events from your network, endpoint, identity, or web security vendors. Then coach your users at the moment the risky behavior occurs, with contextual security tips delivered via Microsoft Teams, Slack, or email. Learn more at knowbefore.com/securitycoach. That's knowbefore.com/securitycoach. And we thank KnowBe4 for sponsoring our show. And now, a message from Black Cloak. What's the easiest way for threat actors to bypass your company's cyber defenses? Targeting your executives at home. According to the latest Ponemon research study, over 42% of CISOs have reported cyber attacks on their executives in their personal lives. And this becomes your problem because executives are easy targets at home for account takeover, credential theft, and reputational harm. Close the at-home security gap with Black Cloak's digital executive protection platform. Award-winning 24/7 365 protection for executives and their families. Learn more at blackcloak.io. Jon France is Chief Information Security Officer at ISC2. I recently caught up with him for insights from the ISC2 2024 workforce study.
It's broadly opinion and some data combined to provide a view of not only the workforce, the potential needs for the workforce coming up, and we call it the gap, i.e. what's needed to secure versus what's currently available, and also to look at the skills in there. And this year, it's a treasure trove of sort of AI data as well, because we asked some very specific questions around AI.
Well, let's use that as a starting point here. Obviously, AI is an ongoing hot topic. How are cybersecurity teams utilizing generative AI when it comes to workforce issues?
What the report highlighted is a little bit of a double-edged sword, really, which is we know it's pushed into our environment. In fact, generative AI has been around for a little over 2 years now, since it hit the public consciousness with ChatGPT. And what we've seen as a profession is not only the proliferation of personal use and business use, but also AI in pretty much everything, in all the tooling that we use and the general workforce uses. So I think the double-edged sword is, it promises a lot, but it also comes with some risks. Those risks are things that we as cyber pros have to understand and have to cope with. And what it's really showing is we probably don't know enough. Maybe that's generally speaking true of anyone that uses AI, which is we know a little bit to be dangerous, but we really do have to look at what this might mean for our profession. 50%, 51% of the respondents to the survey said cybersecurity skills may become obsolete because of some of the AI evolution. Actually, I think what we'll find is some of our jobs will change fairly significantly when we get used to using AI and the tooling that we provide in the situations we find ourselves. So, it's definitely in the public consciousness, definitely in the cyber pros consciousness, and obviously businesses want to use it for competitive advantage.
Yeah, I saw someone recently on social media saying that there are folks now who are specializing in helping folks format their resumes as to, make them present themselves in the best possible way to the AIs that are analyzing them.
Interesting. I hadn't seen that, but yes, of course. AI is used in lots of things, and it can be used in sort of selection and sifting. Interestingly, in the EU, that may not be a use case you're allowed to do anymore because of the AI Act, which is automatic decision making around people. So there are some regulatory pressure coming in there as well that might curb some of the use cases that it could be put to, but it's not surprising. And of course, being a hot topic that it is, and candidates wanting to be appealing, it's going to be on the CV. What we're actually starting to see is, and what the survey backs up is, we don't actually know kind of what the core skills in AI are likely to be. So we're seeing some of them actually going back to things like problem solving, teamwork and collaboration, communication as some of the key skills that are coming through. Non-technical in nature, but where technology is new, emergent, unsure, you can actually use a little bit of a fallback on some of those, I'm going to call them more business-orientated skill sets. And that's what we're seeing coming through on the survey data.
Yeah. That's one of the things that caught my eye when I was reading through the survey was that it highlights this shift towards prioritizing non-technical skills. Can you unpack that for us? What is this trend you're seeing?
Yeah, so I think that the survey has two broad components. One is the needs of the workforce to secure where we see business going. That's the workforce gap, and then there's the skills gaps, which is the skills required to do that. And this year is actually a very pronounced difference between the two. Not only do we not have enough people in the industry to fill those, but the people we do have may not be skilled in the correct areas. So part of that move towards more problem-solving, teamwork, collaboration, and communication is something that naturally means you're probably going to be a really good learner. And actually, you can cope with change. And, we live in a world of change. So I think that's where we're starting to see those things come through as desired traits. The rest can be kind of learned and picked up. And actually, I think it's another affectation of cybersecurity getting a little bit closer to the business. And actually, when you get closer to the business, you need some of those skills to communicate, to understand. Not only to understand what you're protecting and how to protect it, but actually explain why you're doing what you're doing. So I think it's a little bit of a lot of technical and quite a lot of, I'm going to call them interoperation with other business departments and units, where these will really come to the fore and pay dividends.
Yeah, and another thing that drew my attention was the report outlines how there's a significant portion of the new folks entering cybersecurity who are older. They're age 39 to 49. What does this indicate?
It's an interesting stat. Actually, I probably picked up on the same as you did, and I was a little surprised by that. Just thinking, wow. And to bust a myth, a new entrant doesn't have to mean young. And in case, in fact, the data is actually showing that, right?
Right.
And what we might be seeing is some career changes coming into the profession, which is great. To be brutally honest, we need not only new entrants in, I'm going to call it the bottom end, maybe at the youngest side, but we also really value career changes that come in, and they bring different viewpoints and different skills from what they've previously been doing. And maybe that's what we're starting to see, that age demographic up in that end. And maybe it is some of those where we've been interoperating with other bits of the business. They've become really keen to find out what we do and actually are moving over into our professions.
Hmm. Well, let's talk about some practical stuff here. I mean, when we're looking at certifications and standards, where do we stand with that? What's the importance of the certifications these days, and what are considered some of the most valuable?
Without trying to be slightly neutral, standards and certifications are a really good mark of competence. In fact, obviously, IC2 certifications are competence-based, not just knowledge. So and we come back to that sifting problem, which is how do you qualify on first glance? Certifications is one of those elements. If you've maintained a certification, and actually, I use the word maintenance really keenly because it not only shows that you've achieved it, but you've actually maintained it. We have ongoing professional development requirements in our certifications, as do many others. So I think they're a good way, a good mark of knowing that you're getting a certain competence. If we take standards as well, not just of the standards of the people, but things like the NIST cybersecurity framework, etc. Those are ways of obviously operating good sets of controls, known, repeatable, with good outcomes. So they absolutely have their place. They're not the be-all and end-all. You can't just go and get a cert and have done and say, yeah, made it. It is part of being a rounded individual, not only for proof points, professional development, and that's where we see some of these other skill sets come in, good communicator, curiosity, propensity to learn.
Well, when you look at the report as a whole, what are the take-homes for you? What are the words of wisdom here?
I think, economic pressures, budget constraints and layoffs continue to challenge our profession. That challenge impacts the workforce satisfaction, slight dip in that satisfaction rating. And technology adoption is still fairly aggressive. So, economic pressures are driving probably that lack of budget, which is driving staffing challenges. So, in fact, lack of budget replaced lack of qualified talent as the top staffing barrier. So we are definitely seeing that as a pressure. 25% have observed some layoffs. That's up 3% from 2023. And nearly a third have seen fewer promotions. So that goes to that little bit of stagnation. That's number one, economic pressures leading to staffing challenges through budget constraints. I think gaps in skills, 67% reported staffing shortages, with 90% indicating skills gap on their teams. That's the difference between, I know I need to get someone in or get a person in, but actually saying there's a really big skills gap out in the market that I'm not finding what I'm really looking for. 64% viewed those shortages as more serious than the personnel shortages. So, even if I can't get people in, the access to skills is the key issue they're dealing with. Now, training and development is part solution to that, so there is some upside. Doesn't have to be formal. We'd love it to be in certain cases, but it can be just opportunistic and giving people the experiential component. And then finally, that threat landscape. the environment we swim in. It is challenging. We've seen, obviously, conflicts in a number of regions that have digital components. That's driving uncertainty in the wider market, as well as new and emergent technology sort of giving you something new to look at, specifically AI, which is, I think, not only is our profession, but also the businesses are trying to fill the edges of where AI can be leveraged for best effect.
That's Jon France, Chief Information Security Officer at ISC2. We'll have a link to the ISC2 2024 workforce study in our show notes. Do you know the status of your compliance controls right now? Like, right now. We know that real-time visibility is critical for security, but when it comes to our GRC programs, we rely on point-in-time checks. Look at this. More than 8,000 companies like Atlassian and Quora have continuous visibility into their controls with Vanta. Here's the gist. Vanta brings automation to evidence collection across 30 frameworks, like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. They also centralize key workflows like policies, access reviews, and reporting, and helps you get security questionnaires done 5 times faster with AI. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get $1,000 off Vanta when you go to vanta.com/cyber. That's vanta.com/cyber for $1,000 off. And finally, have you ever felt like you're under the spotlight while choosing how much to tip? You're not alone. Digital tipping systems, with handheld devices or countertop screens displaying your selection, are making tipping feel like a high-stakes social performance. Researchers from the University of Richmond studying tip surveillance analyzed 36,000 transactions and ran experiments with over 1,100 participants to uncover its impact. The findings? Being watched while tipping is bad for business. Customers scrutinized during tipping were less likely to return or recommend a business. While privacy often made customers feel more generous, the eyes-on-you approach led to resentment and reduced loyalty. Interestingly, people enjoy being observed while donating to charity, but tipping feels more like an obligation than a choice. Businesses hoping to cash in on pressure tactics might be disappointed. The research revealed no clear link between surveillance and higher tip amounts. In fact, when tipping privately, customers tipped similar amounts but felt more in control, fostering positive experiences. With tipping expectations skyrocketing, companies need to strike a balance. Training employees to respect tipping privacy while ensuring fair wages could enhance customer loyalty and build a better reputation. Ultimately, the debate about tipping's future isn't just about dollars. It's about creating systems that protect workers, ensure fair pay, and foster a sense of goodwill. After all, tipping should leave everybody smiling, not sweating under the payment panopticon. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your team smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilby is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Hey everybody, Dave here. I want to talk about our sponsor, LegalZoom. You know, I started my first business back in the early 90s, and what I would have done to have been able to have the services of an organization like LegalZoom back then. Just getting all of those business ducks in a row, all of that technical stuff, the legal stuff, the registrations of the business, the taxes, all of those things that you need to go through when you're starting a business, the hard stuff, the stuff that sucks up your time when you just want to get that business launched and out there. Well, LegalZoom has everything you need to launch, run, and protect your business all in one place. And they save you from wasting hours making sense of all that legal stuff. Launch, run, and protect your business to make it official today at LegalZoom.com. You can use promo code CYBER10 to get 10% off any LegalZoom business information product, excluding subscriptions and renewals. That expires at the end of this year. Get everything you need from setup to success at LegalZoom.com and use promo code CYBER10. That's LegalZoom.com and promo code CYBER10. LegalZoom provides access to independent attorneys and self-service tools. LegalZoom is not a law firm and does not provide legal advice except where authorized through its subsidiary law firm, LZ Legal Services, LLC.